Magic Journey to the Dinosaurs World by Василина. It was a beautiful sunny day. Maxim, who turned 12 that day, woke up with a certain feeling of joy and happiness. He was a boy of short stature, but with a slender figure and brown eyes, dark long hair, and a dazzling smile. His mother asked Maxim to go to the attic and bring a photo album. He agreed with his mom and went to the attic. He was searching that album in the chest and accidentally saw a mysterious box. He was curious about this box. He decided to open it. He opened the box and found out that there were a key and a note. What is this? It is better if I read this. Fine. He horrified because the note was from his grandfather. He said, "Listen, Maxim, you need to know you have a big responsibility. When time comes, you know how to use the key." The boy didn't know that secret. Of course, he wasn't that fine, because he was surprised and excited. Maxim only took that album that Mom asked for and put the key in his pocket and forgot about it for several weeks. July the 4th, an amazing thing happened to Maxim. He was lying down on bed and suddenly dropped a Rubik's Cube on the floor. He could not find the cube, and then he unfolded the old yellow carpet and found an explored door on the floor. Yes, it was a door. He could not believe it was the door on the floor that he had not seen before. The boy exclaimed, "Oh, my Saint Patrick! How is this possible? Well, can I open it with my key? I'm so excited!" So, the key inserted without any problem, the door was open. Maxim took a little time to think whether he would get down or not. Finally, he decided to go and see what was there. As he saw, it was a long tunnel with a second door in the end of it. He was walking slowly. Then he had noticed flying jellyfish. Maxim could not believe in his eyes and shouted, "What? For real? It can't be true!" It appeared to him that it was a dream and he was sleeping. He got calmed down and went on his journey. Fortunately, jellyfish were not. They didn't attack Maxim. Thus, the boy got in the end of the tunnel and opened the second door without a key. It was open already. When Maxim got out of the tunnel, he appeared in the rainforest. For the 100th time, he could not believe that it was for real, because there was no such rainforest near Maxim's house. "It seems to be a dream," thought Maxim again. It was warm and wet. Maxim listened to every sound came from the forest. He could listen to the birds singing, cracking. Reeds and unknown plants looked wonderful and beautiful. The sun was shining. However, there was a problem. Maxim had noticed a lot of bothering insects flying around him. They bit him and awfully buzzed. Maxim was shocked with that view and looked all around. In addition, he saw marvelous butterflies and various birds. Then Maxim climbed a branch of tropical trees. There was a large lake with the purest water and the brightest green grass. There were large mountains. The boy gasped in admiration and pinched his cheek. Maxim whispered, "Where am I? I can't understand. What does it mean?" Suddenly, the boy heard an unusual sound, like a scream and roaring. Maxim was afraid and ran away. He was running for 1 or 2 minutes without stopping. When he had stopped, he noticed that he was standing in front of a cave. The cave was large, and there was a passage leading there. The sound from behind did not stop and sounded even stronger. The boy decided to hide in that cave. He could not go back because he was afraid of strange, scary sounds. It was not very dark in the cave, and he saw a nest of eggs. At first, he thought that were the eggs of some big bird, but after looking closer, he exclaimed the amazement, This, it can't be! But believing his eyes once again, he came closer and began to examine. The eggs were round, 45 centimeters long and with dark spots. Then he recalled his grandfather, who gave him the key. He had a collection of mini dinosaur skeletons and knew everything about them. Every night before going to bed, Grandpa taught him stories about the life of dinosaurs. Maxim really liked grandfather's fairy tales, and he always wanted to see dinosaurs alive. Each time grandfather answered mysteriously, When the time comes, you will definitely meet them. They are so funny and cute. But Maxim was too young to understand that dinosaurs died out a long time ago, when his grandfather suddenly died of heart attack. Maxim grieved very much and regretted that he would never hear tales about dinosaurs again. 7 years have passed. Maxim often thought about his grandfather and dinosaurs, but he already knew that they did not exist. And today he sees a dinosaur's egg, a real dinosaur egg. He could not forget what a dinosaur egg looked like because his grandfather's collection was still in his grandfather's room. From time to time, Maxim and his mother did the cleaning in that room and still looked at the skeletons, eggs, and photographs with admiration. Maxim still didn't believe and stared at the eggs. Wait! If dinosaurs lived 240 million years ago, how did I get here? Exclaimed the boy. He heard a sound similar to the cawing of dogs. His grandfather said the dinosaurs don't growl like dogs, but cawed like dogs. The sound was getting louder and louder. Maxim was terribly frightened, realized that the mother dinosaur had come to her eggs. The boy quickly ran for cover and lay down behind a large stone on the ground. Not daring to breathe loudly, he fearfully waited. Minutes later, he heard huge footsteps and heavy breathing. Maxim could not resist and slowly looked out to make sure that it was a real dinosaur. What he saw shocked him. Next to nest was a real queen of the real dinosaurs. The sight of Tyrannosaurus Rex was impressive. 12 meters long, 4 meters height, and about 7 tons of weight. The huge skull, seated with dozens of long teeth, could be 2 meters long. What happened next surprised Maxim even more. My poor baby, I'm sorry I can't help you, said the mother dinosaur and started crying. Maxim twitched in fright and touched small stones about him. The stones made a sound, and everything in the sky froze. "Who's there?" The Tyrannosaurus asked loudly and slowly moved to the place where the sound was coming from. Maxim quickly jumped up in the fright, closed his eyes and begged to cry loudly, begging, "Please don't eat me! Please don't kill me!" The Tyrannosaurus was as surprised as he was squinted, and he, "Who are you? Where did you come from? There are no people here. Answer!" Maxim slowly opened his eyes and sniffed. I found the key. I opened the door in my room and found from myself here. I don't know how I got here, because I know that you don't exist anymore, and I can't understand your speech." And apparently, I got off crazy. Having said that quickly, Maxim lost consciousness and fell to the ground. After a while, Maxim woke up because of the tickling. "Maxim? Are you Maxim?" he heard. The boy recalled what had happened. "Yes, but how did you know?" he asked, and saw above him a large head of a Tyrannosaurus rex. The dinosaurs held a branch from a tree in its mouth. It threw away the branch and looked at a little creature who was lying on the ground and barely breathing from fear. The Tyrannosaurus smiled at the boy and said, "I knew your grandfather." Maxim got up, shook out the dirt off his clothes, and asked more confidently, "How? I don't understand." The Tyrannosaurus turned and moved towards its nest. The same eggs lay there, but Maxim noticed some movement behind the nest. Tyrannosaurus pulled out a small dinosaur. It was the size of a dog. "We have been living in this world for a very long time, longer than all mankind," Tyrannosaurus started. "But aren't you died out?" Maxim asked and stared at her. Tyrannosaurus smiled, and Maxim saw its huge fangs. Research believes that the decline in the number of dinosaurs began about 10 million years before our complete extinctions caused by the fall of an asteroid. During the Cretaceous period, between 145.5 and 65.5 million years ago, the Earth experienced a period of global cooling of 7-8 degrees. We were mesometic animals when we began to die out. Your grandfather miraculously saved several hundred dinosaurs and resettled us in a world where you are now. I know it's very strange. Your grandfather was an amazing man. Leo opened a portal in an environment with climate that suited us. Maxim sat in a silence for a long time and was digesting what he had heard. Then he asked, "So what does it mean? He could time travel?" "Yes, sir," replied the dinosaur. "But how did you learn to speak human language?" "I don't understand," Maxim asked and sat down on a stone. The dinosaur carefully looked at his face and mysteriously replied, "We have not learned to speak the human language." How do I understand you then? I'm talking to you." "Wait, does it mean I can talk to you?" "Your grandfather said you were a very smart kid," smiled the dinosaur. "You have inherited your grandfather's abilities to understand us and move in time." Maxim looked at the dinosaur with all his eyes. Wow, just said at the end. The Tyrannosaurus began to tell that its name was Millicent, and there was many like it after the recent landment. There they ate ferns, leaves, cones, flowers, and fruits from the trees. That land was not inhabited, but over time their tribe began to decline. Individual dinosaurs began to die. Why? Exclaimed the boy. Maleficent looked at him with sad eyes. When your grandfather brought us here, initially everything was fine, we thought so. Moreover, your grandfather. Then our cubes began to die from an unknown disease. Leo began to take tests, examined our cubes. He was a veterinarian, said the boy. Yes, he was. After a while, he found that our cubes were dying from the bites of a notice. Your grandfather was looking opportunity to cure our cubs for a very long time, and only after 3 years he was able to come up with a cure. I can't remember. He was always messing around in his lab at work. Maxim noticed. Yes, he saved hundreds of cubes. And Maleficent sighed sadly, and sadly looked at her cup. Only now Maxim noticed that the little Tyrannosaurus was covered with red spots. His eyes were also red and dry. The baby was barely breathing. Maleficent caught his eye. His name is Dixie. He is sick. The boy carefully approached the baby Tyrannosaurus and patted him. What happened to him? He is seriously ill. From tick bites? That's right. It's dying. Maxim straightened up and sharply and looked at the Maleficent in surprise. But you said my grandfather invented the cure. Maleficent looked at the boy for a long time until he said, We, dinosaurs, cannot create a medicine ourselves. My grandfather used to bring them to you, finished for Maleficent Maxim. They both fell silent and looked at sick Dixie. I'll bring you medicine, Maxim said and ran out the camp in tears. He walked on the way back and kept singing what had happened. He was in another world. He saw real dinosaurs. He could understand them speaking. In addition, they need medicine. If they would not provide it with a cure, over time, the last remaining dinosaurs in the world would finally become extinct. He set off on a fast run, determined to save the grandfather dinosaurs. That is why Grandpa kept telling him about dinosaurs and their life. Leo was preparing to present his grandson the world of dinosaurs. Maxim had to take care of them, just like his grandfather. The boy found a familiar path and walked along it for about 15 minutes. He suddenly noticed a door that stood alone among tropical trees. Wow! Unbelievable! Maxim thought and began poking around in his pocket in search of grandfather's key. However, the key was missing. Oh no! Dixie will die! Thought Maxim in horror and began to search in all pockets. Nevertheless, he did not find it. Come on, sing, sing! He lamented and tried to remember where he could drop the valuable key. I have to return along the same road into the cave. My key must be somewhere, Maxim thought. Only suddenly did he notice that the day was ending. The sun was setting. Damn! I won't be able to find it. Despite the fact that it was getting dark, Maxim still went back. He could not lie under the door in the woods. It was better to spend the night in the lair of dinosaurs. With thoughts, Maxim added speed, because behind him he heard a crunch of a branch and a roar. The growl got louder. Frightened Maxim turned his head back and to his horror saw an unknown animal that looked like either a tiger or a wolf. It has red eyes, its ears stuck out, and his coat was gray and yellow. "I'll die now," Maxim thought. However, he could not run. If he suddenly moved, the tiger wolf would pounce on him and gnaw his throat. Gradually, Maxim slowly backed away and looked with his eyes for something to protect himself. Accidentally stamping upon a stone with a melon. "Just try to move," said the tiger wolf's eyes, sighing deeply, and remembering the words of his grandfather. "Never show your fear to an animal." Maxim sharply bent down, picked up a stone, and threw it right into the tiger wolf's mouth. At the same moment, he started running. He had never into the tiger wolf's ran so fast in his life. 5 seconds later, he heard the same growl with horror. Maxim saw a large tree with sticks and branches and immediately decided to climb up there. Maxim laid his hands, but managed to climb up just at the moment when the tiger wolf nearly bit his leg. That monster barked in rage and jumped on a tree, but could not grab onto a branch. "Thank you, Mom, for the climbing and physical education lessons," said Maxim. He could not catch his breath. His hands hurt. The tiger wolf was circling the tree without stopping and was growling at the boy. Maxim had been sitting on the branch for almost 2 hours and was completely exhausted without food and drink. He slowly closed his eyes and fell asleep. He woke up because of the tickling. The boy opened his eyes and saw before him 2 young dinosaurs. He recognized them. They were pteranodons from the genus Dinosaurs, including one of the largest known flying reptiles, with a wingspan of more than 7 meters. "Who are you? Where did you come from?" they asked. Maxim nearly fell off the branch where he was sitting. "I am Maxim, the grandson of Leo. Who moved you here?" The boy replied quickly. The pteranodons exchanged quick glances and looked at Maxim. "Impossible! So you really exist?" "Well, of course," Maxim laughed. "Will you help me get down, please? How did you get here?" Now the dinosaurs were laughing. "I was running from a monster that nearly ate me," the boy exclaimed in fright and looked around in fear. "Don't be afraid. There's nobody here. Climb on me. I'll let you down." Maxim hesitantly descended from the branch onto the huge wing of the pteranodon. "Do you want to ride, buddy?" Pteranodon suggested. "Isn't that dangerous?" For the second time, Maxim spoke uncertainly. "Of course, It's not dangerous until you don't let go of your hand. The second dinosaur waved good-naturedly. The boy plucked up courage and sat on the back of the pteranodon. Moreover, at the same moment, the pteranodon flew skyward. "Wow!" shouted Maxim. Once in the sky, Maxim saw a dense, vegetative tropical forest under him. There were thousands of trees everywhere. A waterfall was visible from afar. Hundreds of various birds and insects flew. In addition, most importantly, Maxim saw a variety of dinosaurs that plucked branches and ate, and some rested. Maxim was happy to see all this beauty, and was so proud of his grandfather, who saved these wonderful creatures. Now, admire them as if he did when he was 5. After circling 3 times in the sky, the pteranodons wanted him under the tree where they found him. "And now, my friend, tell me, where are you going?" said the taller pteranodon. "I'm going home to my world to get medicine for your cups, but I lost the key. I need to find it. The only way I can get to my grandfather's laboratory is to find it." The boy sighed. "You can't find it, mate. You're in the rainforest," importantly stated the loud pteranodon. Maxim sighed again. "But what to do then? The baby of Maleficent will die if I don't find the key. I can't stay here forever. I need to study and help my mother. However, I will try to find it." Maxim wanted to leave, but the top pteranodon stopped him with its long beak. "Maxim, we were close friends with your grandfather, and he showed up as his hiding place, where he did a lot of such keys. Did you think that your grandfather was stupid?" Maxim almost cried from happiness. This catch was located next to the door. Grandfather buried the chest with the keys, a map of the area, and his diary of conversation deep in the ground. The pteranodons at once dug on the chest with their long beaks. Maxim, with trembling hands, opened the chest and quickly found several dozen keys. Maxim took out one key and thanked his new friends. Maxim immediately unlocked the door and saw the familiar tunnel. "Go and find the cure, son," said the pteranodons. It was the first and the most impressive acquaintance of Maxim with the amazing world of dinosaurs that his grandfather created. As a legacy before his death, the grandfather left his grandson his present possessions. Many years had passed. Maxim grew up, got married, and gave birth to 2 children. Moreover, from that first day in the magic world of dinosaurs, Maxim began to visit the inhabitants of that world and help them like his grandfather did. Maxim became a biologist and a chemist, invented several necessary medicines for dinosaurs. He began to help not only dinosaurs, but also other animals. Maxim wrote several scientific reports on the life of dinosaurs and became a great well-known scientist all over the world. Every night before going to bed, he, like his grandfathers, told his kids fairy tales about the magic world of beautiful dinosaurs. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.